Good morning. We're going to have a seminar presentation on behaviorism. I will do this by first of all looking at the definition of behaviorist learning theory. Behaviorism, also called the learning perspective, is where any physical action is a behavior. It is a philosophy of psychology based on the proposition that all things and that organisms do, including acting, thinking, and feeling, can and should be regarded as behavior. This was defined by Skinner in 1984. But focal works more recently this year have defined behaviorism as applied to learners is the idea that the learner is an empty container to be filled with the learning, and what the learner does after this learning is what is called his behavior or her behavior. The behavior can be shaped by putting various things into the container and observing what happens. So if we recall, it's like you're talking of an empty container which has nothing, and you're putting knowledge into it, filling it with knowledge, and then learning is said to have taken place. Behaviorism is a worldview that assumes a learner is essentially passive, responding to environmental stimuli. So the learner starts off on a clean slate, what has been referred to as tabula rasa, and behavior shaped through positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. The probability that the antecedent behavior, that is the behavior that comes afterwards, will happen again. That is, when a learner has both positive and negative reinforcement, it increases the probability that antecedent behavior will happen again. In contrast, if you have punishment, whether it's positive and negative, it decreases the likelihood that the antecedent behavior will happen again. Positive indicates the application of a stimulus. Negative indicates the withholding of a stimulus. Learning is therefore defined as a change in behavior in the learner. Lots of early behaviorist work was done with animals, e.g. Pavlov's dogs. We may have heard about Pavlov's dogs, where Pavlov did an experiment where a bell was rung in order to indicate to the dog that it was time for a meal, and then the meal was provided. But then at a certain time, Pavlov decided to not give the meal but ring the bell, and the dog would salivate whether the meal was provided or not, because it had been conditioned that when the bell rings, there is a meal that is about to be eaten. So it's like that work was also generalized to human beings, and this is from Learning Theories in 2008. But looking at Skinner, he is regarded as the theorist that talked a lot about radical behaviorism, which describes a particular school that emerged during the reign of behaviorism. It is distinct from other schools of behaviorism, with major differences in the acceptance of mediating structures, the role of emotions, and so on. Then now coming to leading behavioral theorists, my friend will take it up from there. Thank you.